Hello everyone, here is the Group Zero Goal. The topic of us this week is the gender equality and feminism. Our group members are Nancy, Lingyu, and He Yan. Okay, first let's think about the truth that based on the study of income and labor dynamics in Australia survey, that women on a minimum wage earn roughly 10% less per hour than men on the minimum rates. The statistics in this sentence reveal the importance of gender equality and feminism. Okay, the presentation in this week will contain following parts: our sustainable development goals, key themes, value of our sources, and key points. Let's start with the first part, sustainable development goals, or SDG. Our presentation is based on the SDG 5, that achieve gender equality and the empower of all women and girls. Besides, our presentation had relations with the following SDGs. They are SDG 1, elimination of poverty; SDG 3, good health and well-being; SDG 8, decent work and economic growth; and SDG 10, reduce inequality. Next part, He Yan, please.
Okay, thanks, Lingo. And these three articles read by our group members are about gender equality. It has our SDG, and which aims to draw people's attention to the discrimination against women in life and work, and how to improve the current situation of women's power. And after our discussing these three articles respectively, we find that the three articles have the following common points. These three articles discuss the public's discrimination against women in all aspects, and at the same time, they are mentioned in racial discrimination, women suffer more discrimination than men, and also, in workplace, whether in recruitment, salary, or promotion, women suffer more pressure and discrimination than men, and their rights are greatly infringed. And at the end of these three articles, they also give some solutions to improve the rights of women. And from what aspects do these three articles discuss gender equality? For part 1, at the UN General Assembly in September 2015, governments around the world adopt the 2013 agenda, which aims to improve women's lives. And it has discussed from three aspects too, on women's economic empowerment, factors affect women's empowerment, and solutions. And the second part discusses the gender dimension of ethics and emphasizes the importance of two terms of distinction and gender. The author needs our attention that women all over the world are facing challenges such as gender discrimination. This is also concern of UN women's agencies. Taking the committing on the elimination of discrimination against women. As an example, it defines what gender discrimination is and how women are discriminated to varying degrees in different situations. And the author mentioned a concept, intersection, which is fully understand the role of gender in society. It is necessary to understand gender and other power structures. And as for the third article, it shows that people trust men's working ability and do not spend more. Therefore, in the workplace, although sometimes some occupants they reject women because of their own characteristic, but although sometimes there's still some women lose opportunities just because they're women because of their gender. And this is why feminists still believe that gender equality is on the way. It's still a long journey. Also, women have been fully graduated in law Western countries. Therefore, this article holds that in order to truly achieve egalitarianism, we must limit hidden discrimination and judge a person from his personal ability rather than label them according to the gender. And the next part, uh, I will explain the different focus of our three article sources. The first focus on the economic aspect and the cost for action. And the second part focuses on using the concept of intersectional discrimination, as I said before, to help understand the discrimination in daily life so as to eliminate discrimination. And the last part makes people understand the unconscious hidden discrimination, which affects women's career choice. And next, Nancy will introduce you the value and shortcoming of these three articles. Nancy, please.
Thank you, Yanhe. So this part, we're going to think about the key points. So let's go for the first part, disciplines. We can see several key points on there. So let me to expand about those key points. The first is economic, financial, and social, because this paper discusses the women's economic equality from aspects of the economy empowerment, social financial support, and social policy. The reason why women's powers in life and workplace cannot be improved is that they can get the good education and win the decent jobs, and social policy doesn't pay attention to it. A second is hidden bias, career choice, or real gender equality. Because the article thinks that we should pay more attention to limitations of discrimination against women. One of the one of the solutions is to make clear the definition of the sex and gender, and to understand the related laws of the gender discrimination through the United Nations conventions. Finally, we could better understand the concept of the gender discriminations by understanding the words intersections. So the final is gender concept, legal conversations, and intersections. So this article also describes the people's invisible discriminations in society. People prefer to the male investors and trust men's ability to work and business acumen. Therefore, in the workplace, although that sometimes some professional reject women because they have their own characteristics. Sometimes some women lose opportunities simply because they are women. Therefore, this article proposed to limits those invisible discrimination. So let's look at that takeaway point. The first is talk about uh, something for government legislations and public session participation to effectively curb discrimination. It is hoped that the companies and the financial organization can prove a good competitive environment and financial support for women workplace and women's groups, social organizations, and even international organizations can prove materials and psychological support of the women's rights. Mm, the second will be more concerned about public sessions or commercial sections because this paper would discuss the gender dimensions of the infix and emphasize the importance of the terms differentiations and gender. We must understand the concept of the intersections in order to fully understand the role of the genders in society and understand the gender and other power structures. In the end, they also got another kind of the limitations um, hidden by the hidden in the career area, and because this article holds in order to truly achieve a free Apprentice actions, it is necessary to limit hidden discriminations and judge a person from his personal abilities rather than a label than according to gender. Finally, got the different kinds of the audience. The first article's audience is feminists, people who care about gender equality. Second part is company, government, and organizations. And the final article is our audience is care about all people with all genders and the society. Next part. So in this kind of situations, we got some solutions on the left side, which is promoting legislation, increase the capital investment, propaganda of the gender equality, ensure the gender equality in recruitment areas with laws, and eliminating the discriminations against the women in gender, and finally learn some new terms. So on the right side, we also got some limitation with those solutions, such as it might be don't have so much detail measure, uh, flexibility of solutions in different areas. The efficiency of the propaganda is hard to be ensured. Also, laws and regulations cannot cover all specific situations. Also, so we need to think about there is no more specific case to study, and in the end, we should need to hope to have more diverse angle. So this is presentations from Zero Group Two. I'm thank you for listening.